Well, food labeled organic has become commonplace in pretty much every store you visit, but how different is it really? Is there even a better option? Well, VB Parulkar from Trivedi Global Incorporated is actually here to discuss. Such a pleasure to have you here, VB.
Thank you, Alex. Happy to be here.
Definitely. So organic is obviously something we're all so used to seeing these days. It's all over the place. You see labels in every store that says organic, but the agriculture industry is having an issue right now. What would you say is the biggest thing that they're facing at the moment?
The biggest challenge is how do we produce food that is free of chemicals, toxic residue, and has high nutrition value and high yield, because we want to feed the billions of people all over the world. And how do we do that? So that is the biggest challenge. And the reason is toxicity is everywhere. We live in an environment that's a sea of toxins, and the food that we eat, the air that we breathe, and the materials that we consume, they are all laden with chemicals, whether it is pesticides, fungicides, weedicides, or even chemicals like carcinogens, neurotoxins, and whatnot. They are in everything that we use. The Environmental Working Group released a research report that shows more than 200 toxins being present in the blood of a newborn baby.
Wow.
And just imagine, as adults, what are we having? What are we exposed to?
Sure, years and years of exposure.
Years and years of exposure, and then we ingest it, we absorb it, we eat it. So toxicity is a big problem, a big challenge, and we've been thinking that by eating organic food, we are getting away with the challenge of toxicity, which may not be true, which may not be the way the regular layman understands it. Because the challenge with agriculture, whether it's conventional or organic and everything in between at scale, is that there's insects, there's bugs, there is microbes that like bacteria, viruses, fungi. They attack the crop, they attack the plants, and they affect their immunity, they damage them, and they affect the yields of the produce. And that's why they have to use toxins to kill them, to deter them, to counter them. The difference between organic and conventional is that in organic, they use toxins that are naturally occurring. And the belief is that naturally occurring toxins will be better. However, that is not the case. If a toxin is a toxin, and if it's not safe, it's not safe. And the governmental standards and regulations need to mature for organic farming. They are not quite at the same level as they are with conventional. And as a result of that, we believe that we are eating organic, but organic food produces less food per unit of land. It has potentially more pathogens when tested in random trials. And USDA has a pesticide data program, and they've found that organic food, when tested from retail outlets and other sources randomly, has the similar amounts of residual toxins as conventional food.
And in many cases, we're paying more for organic, thinking that it's better for us, but really you're saying it's sort of all the same. And so if current technologies aren't the answer for this, then what is?
Yeah, so I'm going to get into the answer for it based on what our research has seen, but there's one other element to it, that is nutritional value. So over the last few decades, we've seen that nutritional value of fruits and vegetables and grains has been on the decline. So it would take 8 oranges to consume the same amount of vitamin A today compared to what our grandparents ate with one orange. Or with tomatoes, 10 tomatoes to get the same amount of copper from 1 tomato in 1940s. So the challenge is we are eating food that has less nutrition value, has more of the toxic residue, and where do we go from there? This is the main challenge. And what we have demonstrated is it is possible to produce food that is completely free from chemicals. You don't have to use any chemicals at all, whether natural or synthetic. Produce food that has higher yields, has higher nutrition value, and has higher shelf life.
And I don't want to run out of time before we talk about something that's beyond organic agriculture. What is that?
So that is, how we produce food like this. So food that plants and trees that can have very high immunity, so that they don't need any chemicals to counter bugs, pesticides, microbes, and have higher yields and higher nutrition value. And we have done this with a proprietary technique or phenomenon called the Trivedi effect, where we've demonstrated higher yields as much as 6 times higher, higher immunity in plants also as much as 6 times higher, higher shelf life, higher vitality, and higher nutritional composition of food in at-scale research projects in the US as well as in India. And we believe this is the future of agriculture. This is, it's no more, imagination or desire or hope. It is the future.
Right.
And we think that, as with agriculture, everything has a label, GMO, organic and whatnot. So we think the label for this food could be pristine agriculture.
Pristine food. And there's so much information on the website. I was checking it out before our segment here. I'm going to point them to that so that they can read more about this. But VB, pleasure to meet you.
Likewise. Thank you, Alex, for having me.
Absolutely. Now, guys, if you'd like to learn more about transforming your life and all the benefits that come with the Trivedi effect, visit trivedieffect.com.